Here we go. Hopefully that's worked. Can you let me know if it works?
Yeah, it's up and running now.
We can see the McLaren moving nice and normally on the stream.
Yep, the McLaren is on his lap. Breezy.
Okay, that's good. Apologies about that, everyone. It seemed you just had a quick little issue with the stream getting going. But hopefully we should be good. But this should be the first time people are seeing the stream being run in the higher processing power of the Xbox Series X, which I own. So if anyone notices the change of quality within the stream, please do let me know. Obviously, I've got the stream set to run on 720p, so we're not putting too much stress on the stream, otherwise it will cause more lag spikes. There we go. That's all running good. So Breezy is the first car to do a flying lap, although he doesn't need to do a crazy lap considering it's Q1 and we've only got 15 cars, so he just needs to do... One person can just do a lap, and it will get us through to Q2.
Yes, Vettel, RSF1 Vettel that is. Yeah, the best track in the calendar, Singapore. It is. Very nice, as Borat would say.
It's definitely one of the most beautiful tracks.
Yeah, I've got to admit, string quality in there. It's very good. Series X must be...
Like, when I did my race on Thursday and was all waiting on the grid to get going, I can see all the wrinkles and folds in the tyre blankets. Like, it was that crisp of a quality due to the heavy-duty power of the Series X, which I have to say, like, even with my view at the moment on watching this race on first hand here, the quality from this McLaren is incredible.
Alex, I don't actually know why people are on mediums, and Breezy spun into the wall. Eesh.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. People on the medium compound tyre is a bit of a risky move. I'm not even going to lie, the quality of the Haas even looks beautiful.
Yes. Whoa, the Haas is a nice looking car. I like it.
Well, we've got a new person actually within Division 2, Dark Sniper. So welcome to F2, Dark Sniper, and we wish you all the best in your debut. I think is he a Haas driver or is he just reserve?
Well, Iox has left, so I'm assuming probably.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Obviously, Muddy Biscuit's teammate Iox has been in RSF1 for quite a long time. Recently, he was a Toro Rosso driver back in Season 2 on F1 2019. So it was a shame to see Iox go, but he left for personal reasons. So myself, I'd like to wish Iox all the best. And also I'd like to wish the best of luck to Dark Sniper, who will be filling in for Iox, who does a 1:37.2, but it's not... I don't know if that's a bad... Oh! K-Mag... Oh no, K-Mag retired in the pits, that's fine. I thought K-Mag out. I noticed actually we're missing Stygian.
Oh yeah, we are.
Just a surprise.
I'm a little surprised to see anyone do a lap, to be honest. It's a waste of soft tyres, especially in a track like Singapore.
Catastrophe is choosing to use up his medium tyres unless he's purely relying on the softs for qualifying. It's a bit of a risky move, burning those mediums.
According to Sturridge in the chat, apparently using the softs in qualifying is... No, I completely disagree.
So what was he saying?
But soft to hard, I think, is near enough impossible on this track, especially if you're going very fast. But it is quite hard to keep the tyres in check then.
Because this is a decently high deg track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a very, very high deg track. Using softs is normally fatal around this track, especially if you're going full speed, but I'm a little surprised to see people saying 1 minute 35s. I mean, no disrespect to the drivers, but that seems a little bit slow at this point. I'm expecting to see a 33 at minimum.
Well, we have to wait and see, really, of how the drivers will cope around the streets of Singapore. Because I don't think they're all going out on it like too much, because they just need to do a lap. Well, even if they just relied on steerage to just do one lap, and then everyone else didn't do anything and they all retired, they would still get a Q2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised anyone went out all live, wouldn't waste the tyres personally, but maybe these guys just want a bit of extra practice so then they're not binning it in qualifying, which could be very easy to do on this track. It's quite high traction, high... I'd say
you can use this as a glorified practice session.
Yeah, I suppose they could, yeah. Oh yes, Shrimper, there is no Ferraris here.
Yeah, unfortunately, sadly at the loss of Shrimper as well, which is a real shame, because
Shrimper's the one who put it in the chat. Shrimper's the one who put it in the chat.
No, I mean, he left Division 2, didn't he?
No, I thought he left the league. I thought Shrimper left the league.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, obviously he doesn't race with us anymore. He was looking like he was in the contention in the championship battle, which it was sad to see him go, because to see the battle between Haas, Scuderia, Ferrari and McLaren, it was a nice three-way battle. Even with him now out of RSF1, I mean, Steerage and Muddy Biscuit is still a good rivalry, because we know how quick Steerage is. But it's just, I miss seeing that Ferrari fighting on the top spot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But at the end of the day, they were cheating last season, so...
Well, they're not cheating this season. They're suffering quite bad. I mean, but they've managed to make some good results out of their poor car this year.
They have. They've made the most of the opportunities where they could score points, but they've also done some extraordinarily bad strategy calls, bad pit stops, bad team orders, a very unstable car.
It's just been Ferrari in history. Mainly with the team orders, though. I mean, in recent history, the Ferrari strategy was really, really off. I mean, people would make memes about it. I think it's Maurizio. Who was the old?
Maurizio di Bene.
That's it. He was obviously not doing a good job in managing the Ferrari team, and then they got Binotto in instead. But Ferrari strategy recently have been lacking. Bad calls, team orders. I remember when they did that to Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa, Rubens Barrichello, Michael Schumacher, They've done some really dodgy calls in the past, especially with back in one Austrian Grand Prix to keep the championship going for Michael, and it was early parts of the season. They ordered Rubens to concede the win, and then the following year the exact same call was made, but Schumacher wasn't having it, and he pulled up Barrichello to the top step, but he got fined massively by the FIA, because obviously he wasn't allowed to do that, but he was refusing to accept that.
Yeah, I can see fans' frustration with deliberately letting someone win a race, but I don't remember Mercedes getting fined in 2018 for the Valerie James thing.
They also, Lewis Hamilton's only done one good thing for Valtteri Bottas as well in their Mercedes partnership. was in the Hungarian Grand Prix once. Bottas got ordered to move out of the way to let Lewis go because they thought Lewis would have the pace to catch the leading cars, and he didn't. So at the end of the Grand Prix, around the last corner, he slowed down and let Valtteri Bottas take the podium, and Lewis was willing to accept taking fourth because he wasn't quick enough to catch. I think it was Kimi Raikkonen, maybe up ahead. I think it was the Ferraris up in the lead at that point.
Yeah, the Red Bulls taking each other out. I think it was the Ferrari one too.
Yeah, it was Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel, and because Lewis just wasn't quick enough to catch them, he was just like, right, last corner, you can have it back, mate.
Yeah, Mercedes did make quite a move out of the 2017 championship. In my opinion, that was Ferrari's best chance at beating them.
Yeah, but unfortunately, things did happen with Ferrari. I do think, actually, the 2017 incident here in Singapore, where both Ferraris came together, I think that was a really good opportunity Ferrari had there to maybe extend their lead or maybe even stay in the battle for the championship. And because they took each other out while sandwiching Verstappen, it did really just end it for them.
Yeah, it really did. Then Vettel had obviously some reliability problems in the next two races, which cost him valuable points. I am pretty certain that Vettel would have won both of those races had it have not ended in reliability problems in both each of them. And maybe he might have walked away champion, but unfortunately that's a different reality, so...
I mean, Lewis Hamilton isn't immune as well, because there was, I think it was an Austrian Grand Prix where both Mercedes had retired due to hydraulic problems.
Yeah.
Breezy almost crashed himself out by hitting that wall there, but luckily he was still fine. And then there was also Malaysia, the famous Malaysia 2015 or 2016, where... I think it was 2015, where Lewis Hamilton's car blew out during the race, which brought out the famous "Oh no" radio call, which obviously handed the victory to Nico Rosberg.
No, it was actually Daniel Ricciardo won.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, because Vettel put at the back of Nico Rosberg at the start.
There's actually been in terms of 2020, real life 2020, not the game, we've had some really good races. I mean, seen a return of loads of classic tracks like Imola, and then we've got the Nürburgring as well, Turkey, and then we've seen the introductions of Portimao, the Mugello circuit. A lot of really nice tracks was brought into the F1 calendar this year, and it really made for great racing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this season's been particularly great, personally. But there's been 3 fantastic races in Austria, Italy, and obviously this week's race in Turkey.
What happened to K-Mag? In a classification for... Oh, K-Mag crashed!
Didn't catch that.
He crashed! So your top 3 was just there on the screen. I was about to read them, but then the game got rid of it. But I was more baffled at the fact that I thought K-Mag was one of those drivers that just said, you know what, I don't need to go out, and then retired. I had no idea that he actually legitimately crashed out of the qualifying session.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all. Now, Q2, the most important qualifying session of the Singapore Grand Prix. What tyre do you go on to? Because obviously now there's no option to have a couple of laps on the hards. It's mediums or softs in this game. I would advise staying off the softs at all costs because you are banking on a lot of safety cars to be able to make them into the pit window. They'll overheat very quickly because the more wear on your tyres, the thinner the tread, the higher the temperature builds up. This is a very hot circuit, so You know, maybe we can see a couple of people try the soft strategy, but it's a big gamble. So mediums are...
So you would advise completely against the softs?
Yeah, 100%. Tyre wear and tyre temperatures will just ruin them very quickly.
Well, sadly, a load of people, including Rip and One Shot, did not heed your advice on being against the soft compound tyre, unless because I actually do agree with me that it's kind of a bit of a pain that they got rid of the ability to use the hard compound tyre, because in RSF1 there was actually a few occasions where some people actually really did get through Q2 on a hard tyre.
Yeah, there's been a few instances. I can't remember any from ones I commented, but I do remember, I think it was Mr. Pigeon Munch, he might have done it in Japan, Season 2, I think.
Which didn't really matter in the end, because even though he qualified through Q2 on the hard tyres, it was a wet race from what I remember. Everyone was on the wet tyre. Pigeon was on the intermediate tyre, and it was intermediate conditions. The weather was not heavy enough to constitute wet weather tyre. So Mr. Pigeon Munch then led for good, like 95% of that Grand Prix. Maybe the few opening laps he was cutting his way through the traffic, but I think Mr. Pigeon Munch's strategy there back in Japan was actually the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, Mr. Pigeon's obviously a top tier driver in this league. He's won plenty of races, got many podiums and a couple pole positions. So yeah, expect nothing less from a guy of Mr. Pigeon Munch's caliber.
Going back to the quality, by the way, the shine, like I can notice a lot more reflections off of the cars. I know obviously it's because it's also a night race, so you're definitely going to get a little bit more like gleaming off the cars, but the quality wise I'm noticing on my end is so much more refined. No, I'm noticing more detail on the tyres. I can see the graining in his front right.
Yeah, I don't see that.
No, I can see the bits of marble he's gone over.
Is anyone coming round to do a lap?
Rip and One Shot is in the racing point. He's just gone through and done the fastest second, and he invalidates after going through the chicane as he's about to approach the bridge, and that puts an end to his lap, but just a little short way back up the road is Breezy. Meanwhile, Catastrophe a 1:35.666. So he gets onto the top spot with a 1:35, but as you said, Vettel, you don't really want to see 1:35s. You expect 1:33s from these guys.
Yeah, I expect that as a minimum.
Well, let's see what Breezy can do, because he does a 36.5. I think maybe going for the 33s might be a bit of a tall ask for these lot, Vettel.
Oh, they must still be on the pad then. Yeah, I think they all are. Because the wheel is notoriously overpowered at this track.
No, JJ Hudson is using a wheel. If you look at his steering, JJ Hudson is using a wheel. Interesting. Right, let's go on board with HCR Fearless as he just passes the slow-moving Alpha Tauri. I think that might be Lukey or Titan Prime. HCR Fearless is a wheel user as well, so we'll see momentarily if the wheel is as dominant as you say it is, well.
Well, it should be faster. Cool breezes in the wall. Always spun it.
Breezy hasn't had a good qualifying session. He hit the wall in Q1 near the end of the session, but luckily he didn't have that much pressure on him because he was it wasn't going to be eliminated.
Yeah, I thought so.
Now,
The world record around Singapore is a 31.9.
oh, that's quite massive. Who set that record?
Jarno Opmeer.
Oh, shout out to Jarno Opmeer. Isn't he an Alfa Romeo driver in the esports?
He is, yes. Very good driver.
Shout out to Jarno Opmeer. And HCR Fearless, round the last corner he goes, full power, crosses the line of 35.5. That's a little bit better, but it's not hitting. We're not hitting the 34 turf.
Not yet. There's still plenty of qualifying left. I might have to up the lap time expected at the minute. Probably to about a 34.9, I imagine, will be Q3 pole.
I'm going to guess 34.7. That's going to be my guess on maybe the potential fastest time, 34.7. Like, that we're going to see all qualifying. I mean, we're not going to see too much out of the medium compound runners because obviously their tyre is going to be a lot more slower than the softs. But Q3 obviously is when we're going to see maximum grip on the track because obviously it's been worn in.
Someone just crossed the line. Is that Eddie Biscuit? It is, yes.
That was
right.
That was FFR Milan.
Oh, yeah.
He just did a 36.7 on the medium compound tyre. So good lap there from FFR.
Oh, Connor Todd is on a 34.4. 34.3.
Nice. Titan Prime. He's just moved up to P5 with a 30. No, Connor Todd. I think he's a Division 3 driver. On board with the Williams of RSF1 Brundle. It's weird, when you look at this Williams in the Singapore light, I think this is just in general with Singapore, not just because it's a Series X, but don't you notice, because of the lighting, you can also see like a bluey tinge to the white of the Williams paint job. Can you see that? There's like a
there we
weird,
go,
like,
35.
fire.
Yeah, same Luki, 35. Now these are the sort of times I was expecting to begin with.
So that means those two will be really, hopefully, a good lap in Q3 once they get onto those soft tyres. But I think Steerage and Lukey might be good with that. That's quite remarkable.
I have quite a lot of doubts whether that's going to be beaten, but we'll have a look. We see. And before anyone asks
round the
why
last corner,
33 hours somewhere, it's because I noticed a lot of Division 1 drivers doing 33s, and I think one did a 32 in time trial.
Ripping one shot, one of the two racing points, currently sitting down at the bottom two spaces, not where they want to be, as he moves to the hairpin. Down the DRS zone he goes. This the second DRS zone on this circuit. Ripping one shot does a second sector, a fastest second sector.
It's all about not invalidating. This sector has got probably some of the tightest track limits on the game. You're looking for wide entry, hitting the curbs over, straight back onto the power up to third. Kissing the curb, you can cut a bit of the curb here. I would use a little bit of curb on the exit, then it's a straightforward line. You can try and cut the inside line a little bit, but it might be worth it, not worth it, just to get the lap in. And he's, yeah, P4.
That's good. Tell you what, that's not a bad lap. But he is starting on a soft compound tyre, so he's got to be very, very kind to them in the opening stages of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, very kind. I think the only way you can feasibly go on the soft tyres at all is to stop.
Yeah. Actually, question, how many laps would there be at half distance for this Grand Prix?
It's normally a 35 lap Grand Prix on 50%, I believe. So
How many laps could a hard compound tyre do? If this is a dry Grand Prix we're looking at, how many laps could a hard
around
tyre do?
about 21 to 25, depending on how good you are with tyres.
So, oh, Brutal Reapers invalidates just after the final chicane before the second to last corner, and that has brought an end to that hope of a good flying lap on the medium tyre. Surprisingly, someone who's not doing too great at the moment for this session is RSF1 Ice. He's still quite down low in the table at the moment
Well,
of today's
he's coming
qualifying
across
session.
the line in a second, so we'll find out where he is then. It's looking good. Yeah, 35.
Oh, P6. Took him a little bit to get there because of a difficult push there with the amount of cars on the track, but he did get it done. Someone who might have made a bit of a mistake on how much they've pushed on their tyres is Titan Prime. Titan Prime has done 3 laps on his hard tyres, no, sorry, medium tyres. And again, this is a high deck circuit like we've just been talking about. That's quite intense on those tyres.
I imagine most of the guys on these soft tyres probably around about 9 to 12% tyre wear at the moment. Because a flying lap kills them.
Yeah, flying lap will hurt because you're pushing them tyres quite heavily to get a good time while utilising that maximum grip. How much laps do you think the mediums can do?
Again, it depends what... Oh, there we go, JJ Hudson, 35.2 on the soft tyre.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it says the same about the mediums. You can do around about 11 if you want to do a one stop and then go at the hard till the end. If you want to try and undercut people, because the undercut is very powerful here. Or if you want to overcut someone around about 16 laps, I would say.
Oh, Gruntastrophe's taking a big risk. He's gone back out on the same soft compound tyre.
Oh, okay then. I wouldn't
He's got
have
next to no
thought...
ERS.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was the greatest idea, but... Grunty must know what he's doing. I mean, setting purple sector 2.
That's good and all, but all he'll really be doing is going for glory. Oh, FFR Milan, 35.5, puts him up in the P4, so that's pretty good. But I was just saying, Gruntastrophe, even if he goes fastest and gets up into the top spot, all he's doing is grabbing the glory, but when it comes to the beginning of the Grand Prix, he's going to be in the pits quicker than anyone else.
I don't know, maybe Grunty's knowing something that I don't, or has some sort of strategy to keep these tyres working well. Going P5, very solid lap from the Williams driver. Unfortunately, Brundle in the other Williams is currently in the elimination zone. Do you want to ride on board with him?
Yep, as he goes down the first ERS second of the circuit, pushing down to the left-hand. That's the fastest first sector by RSF1 Brundle. He gets a little bit wide coming out of that corner there, but he does manage to keep it quite well. Nice helicopter shot there we got. He gets quite nice here. Downshift to third. You could probably take that in fourth, couldn't you? Maximise the thrust of speed, but never mind, Brundle does that. Anyways. Oh, very close to those walls. Too close for comfort for me. But regardless, Brundle pushes on now to the second DRS zone of the circuit. And pushes on. Is this going to be a fastest second sector?
No.
No, it's not. He is, however, beating his personal best, so...
Oh,
he's done the fastest first sector. No, that's Dark Sniper. Dark Sniper's just smashed straight into the wall.
Oh no,
down the end
Money
there.
Biscuit's overtaken Brundle.
RSF1 Brundle needs to do a good lap here to secure his hopes of getting into Q3 here. Round the last corner he goes. Can RSF1 Brundle do it?
10.
Oh, only just!
Mini Biscuit's currently up on his time as well.
On board with Muddy Biscuit. He's currently the championship leader now, because he was tied with Shrimper after
He's a 10th up.
The Italian Grand Prix. But then, due to Shrimper's departure from RSF1, Muddy Biscuit retakes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. But he's got to defend heavily off of steerage. So Muddy Biscuit really needs to get into Q3 here to have any good hopes of continuing to extend his lead within the Drivers' Championship. Round the last corner, our championship leader goes on the power in 6th gear, gets across the line, goes first.
Not pole. P1.
35.1. So we're nearing the high. We're nearing the 34s now. I think it's possible.
Right, so that's all she written for this particular qualifying session. Surprisingly, some usual Q3 faces are out, Brutal Reapers and Brundle.
And Ice, actually. No, Ice did make it through. So yeah, Brundle and Brutal Reapers being the unlucky people here in qualifying. Yeah, it's quite surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, very surprising to see those guys out immediately.
But, however, one person who's probably not too bothered now by this is Titan Prime. Titan Prime did 3 laps on those medium compound tyres, and now that he obviously has now been eliminated from the session, he doesn't need to worry now. That was a very dramatic set. So the camera's scrolling down onto the track there, so I was looking at the grid. That was a very dramatic sort of scroll down. So Dark Sniper, Brutal Reapers, Titan Prime and RSF1 Brundle being the drivers eliminated from the session. But meanwhile, in the top 3 for Q2, Steerage takes 3rd, and he'll be starting on the medium tyre. JJ Hudson 2nd in the Red Bull, and Muddy Biscuit, the championship leader, takes 1st in the Haas. The big question is, though, is who can get the highest starting position? Because for Steerage, the higher up he is, the better he is. If he's down the bottom of the grid for Q3, then he might as well have not bothered with Q2.
I'm a little bewildered to how many people have opted to go for the soft tyres.
Well, what would you say is a viable strategy around Singapore, mainly Vettel? Well, like you personally, if you was racing and you're in your qualifying session, what would you hope to do?
I wouldn't even bother going on the soft, so just use the mediums. Even if you use it for 3 or 4 laps, it's still in a much better position than someone on the soft tyres.
So you'd consider the soft tyre in Singapore to be for qualifying only? You would never bother using them during the race?
Well, if there's a safety car at the end, well, around about lap 27, you can get them to the end. A bit of an ask. But other than that, I wouldn't touch them at all.
On board with Brantastrophe, the final surviving Williams of qualifying and the first car to go out onto the track. We'll soon see what Brantastrophe can bring to the table, as we've got 10 minutes left of this qualifying session.
Do you want me to take the board?
Yeah, once he crosses the line, it's all yours. I know how much you love this track, so I imagine you're going to be pretty excited for this onboard.
Yeah, I just find it very interesting to see what lines people take and how they get on the power and how much of the track they like to abuse. So I'd like to take it into my race.
And now goes under the bridge, through the chicanes, and here we go, Vettel, take it away.
Right, it's vital to get a very nice exit from here. You can cut the corner slightly, you can carry a bit extra apex speed. Choosing to stay in 6th, I like to stay in 5th. Now you want to go over to the yellow side slightly, try and get a nice thing. You can cut over the curb quite a bit on this track, use a little bit more of the exit. Down to 2nd, you can shift to 1st, get a bit of extra rotation. Straight back onto the power, keeping a wide entry in the corner. choosing not to use any of the curb, it's just quite interesting. On the DRS, onto probably the most likely place you're going to overtake on the track. Not using the full extent of the track, nearly a little very close to invalidating there. Choosing not to use as much of the track as possible. Coming through here, it's very easy to lose the rear end of the car. Using a little bit of curb there, straight back onto the power, up to 7th gear. Most likely we'll short shift down 4th, cut as much of the curb as possible, straight back onto the power, cutting over the curb again, and then it's full throttle through here, try and keep it as close to the wall as possible. Then no short shift, then up to here, keeping a wide exit. You can lose the rear end slightly because it's a little bit dusty, choosing to go at the 7th, 2nd, wow, I'm a little surprised with that, purple sector 2, very nice exit through there, brushing the wall slightly there, maybe could put the curb a little bit more on the inside, but maybe this doesn't want to risk the invalidation, going very deep, obviously going to compromise the lap slightly, it compromises your entire run through here, oh, very lucky to not invalidate there, hits the wall slightly. Then choosing not to cut over the curbs enough, up across the line, 35.2 from Gruntastrophe.
Which is a good lap, but...
Oh yeah, there we go, Lukey, 34.4.
Oh.
33s aren't off the table.
They are still on the table. Lukey did a good lap there. Let's go on board the championship leader, see what he's bringing to the table. Crosses the line.
P3.
Oh, 35 dead.
I imagine this will be damage limitation for Muddy at the moment because he's 6 tenths adrift off a steerage. I'm not sure whether he made a mistake on the lap or not. Maybe he did, but with that sort of deficit, I wouldn't imagine he'd be able to close it. And I imagine Lukey, steerage, and maybe even Eitz. Eitz qualified in the mediums, but Eitz only a 35.2, which is much faster than what he was doing on the mediums.
And it looks like, I think everyone's going to be going back into the pits in a second, so that means for a small moment there, we're not going to have any cars on track.
No, I doubt anyone will be trying to go for a second lap on these tyres because they cooked after a lap.
Well, Muddy Biscuit, making good use of his Haas F1 car, puts himself up in P3 behind his championship rival steerage. Lukey's actually proven himself to be quite a huge contender within the championship with some really good drives. So it's definitely shifted from Shrimper, Muddy Biscuit and steerage to Muddy Biscuit, steerage and Lukey.
Yeah, it sure has. Lukey's had some great qualifying performances and he got a podium in Belgium, if I remember right.
Yeah, he did. Muddy Biscuit has had quite a lot of consecutive points finishes. Even if he doesn't win, he gets the podiums in as well. So, in terms of pure consistency, you're looking at him right now on your screen, which is Muddy Biscuit. He's the only driver I've ever known to really make the most out of a bad day and still score some good points.
Yeah, track limits is his speciality. I don't think he has had a warning for nearly 7 races, I think. It's something crazy like that. This track's obviously quite bad with the track limits because if you go slightly wide at any corner, it's an instant what they call warnings, and those warnings obviously build up into penalties. So I'm expecting the majority of people to get a couple time penalties, but judging by Muddy Biscuit's current form, I expect to have 0 warnings by the end.
And here we go, cars are going back out onto the circuit, which is steerage to be the first. This is their last chance to do a flying lap because Singapore is quite a decently sized circuit. It'll take them a minute and a half to get around, actually maybe a little bit more than a minute and a half considering it's a slow out lap. And then it'll take their flying lap and then their in lap. So I think this is their last chance now to get a good qualifying position for the top 10 shootout. One thing I would like in this, in an F1 game in future, if they do it, is to have multiple seasons in there. So sort of like you can choose what season's cars to use. That'd be pretty cool. like a legacy or a legacy edition or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's all to
So
do
you could
with
choose.
licensing. So obviously, if they wanted to do a 2008 season because it was fantastic, I don't think they'd be able to get Spikers, Midlands, Super Aguri exists anymore. I doubt Honda would want to put their name in it.
Yeah, 2014 as well. That was a pretty good one. Obviously, Marussia, Caterham, Lotus. Sauber probably wouldn't mind because Sauber are still in the sport. They're just under the name of Alfa Romeo now. Force India. Obviously, I doubt they'd go back to that name.
Yeah, I imagine.
But you know, it would be
change.
nice to see the 2014 vehicles.
Well, I don't like the engine sound. I think they sound horrible, and they look awful as well.
I didn't like the Lotus. It looked like it had just come out of a fish and chip shop.
Well, I wouldn't.
With a chip fork nose. It legitimately just had a chip fork nose. And it was the only car that had that. Then you had the weird shaped noses of the Caterham, the Toro Rosso, and the McLarens. And then you had the normal body shapes of Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull.
Ferrari went for the Hoover style front nose, didn't they?
Ferrari
went for the Hoover style front nose, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Wasn't very fast either.
No, it wasn't. I think what really helped Mercedes in 2014 was more their power. How they handled V6 turbo hybrids. They got a really strong foothold into the Grand Prix because when 2014's Australian Grand Prix came, people were like baffled because like Mercedes actually did really well. It almost made it feel like it was 2009 with Brawn.
Yeah, and it's
all over again.
And it's still going on today, unfortunately.
Well, obviously one day the Mercedes era will come to a close. I mean, for a long time Ferrari was on top. And then they came down. Then Red Bull got on top. Then they came down. Ooh, 34-2 by steerage.
Lukey not invalidating. I might be going for another lap, which might actually be his undoing because those tyres will be cooked now. So I expect that car to be a bit harder to drive, and obviously the initial grip of the tyres will have been lost. But we'll see if he improves. Mini Biscuit, Grunty crossing the line, improved, well not improved at all. Mini Biscuit currently 12 thousandths of a second up on his lap. Comfortably picked.
Not much of a margin.
Oh no, and there goes RSF1 Heights with a 34.7.
Nicely done there by Heights.
Here comes Muddy Biscuit round the final corner, going a little bit wide. Yeah, cost him quite a bit of time there in the final sector.
Bad luck there for Muddy.
HCR Fearless, purple sector 2.
Good there, good work there by the Red Bull.
Yeah,
I'm noticing raindrops.
Here comes Fearless through the final.
Can you see the raindrops trickling down his car?
Oh yeah, there is. It's raining. Here comes
Rain
Fearless.
at the end of Q3.
P4.
Unlucky for Rip in one shot. I think that might be
the
end of his qualifying.
Over there. I think this is the grid.
Well, let's go on board with him anyways, because he's going to go through with it regardless.
Yeah, he's got a bit of grip still in that car. I can't imagine by the end of the lap it'll be too easy to drive. The DRS is still enabled, so you might see some magic from the racing point.
He still has a chance. We'll have to see when he gets to the end of this sector if he's up or down on his time.
He's up.
To get a, oh, he's up on his time. He could improve and get a good. I'm guessing maybe 7th. He could get a nice P7 for the start. as if he can keep this consistency going, working with the slight trickle of rain.
Doing a little
Everyone else now. Ooh. Little stab there, you know, you could see from him. He applied a bit of throttle
down pretty hard now.
He's up on his time still. He's 3/10 faster in the second sector.
He might be able to snatch P9.
Depending on his mid-sector, he could get P8.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise when Breezy were quite so close. Maybe not taking the prime run. No, not improving.
He did improve.
No,
he
210.
No, he didn't. He was 1,000th of a second off of his original time. Oh, unlucky. And then goes Lukey in the AlphaTauri, going into the pits, and that is the end of Q3.
Busquets, championship leader. I thought it was a... Oh, right. I thought Busquets played for Barcelona. Oh, I must be on about Busquets.
Steerage takes the top spot for qualifying. At the end of Q3, Lukey gets second place, and surprisingly, it's not Muddy Biscuit like we thought it is. RSF1 Ites takes the third spot in the top 3, and then HCR Fearless completes the second row. So it's a decent qualifying it's a decent qualifying sessions that we had. Bad luck to K-Mag being the unfortunate one to not even get a shot at trying to go for Steerage has left the session. Lukey's gone as well, the top 2. That's not good. Championship leader's gone as well out of the session. The game has a habit of kicking them. JJ Hudson. So that means one person's going to benefit hugely from the start is RSF1 Ice.
Are there cars on the grid?
Yeah. The cars on the grid. They just got kicked from the game. Codemasters have implemented a sort of a safety feature now within the game. So if they did get removed, their cars are still on the grid. They just have to rejoin, and at the end of the formation lap, and then after launch, they will get the ability to retake control of their cars. But that means, obviously, till about turns 1 and 2, they won't get control. RSF1 Ice has the perfect opportunity to take the lead going into turn 1. This could be huge.
Yeah, obviously with 2 driving Muddy Biscuit, maybe capitalize it.
It was 4 actually, because JJ Hudson lagged out, Steerage and Lukey got kicked out, and Muddy Biscuit did. So 4 of the 15. Dark Sniper readied up.
Great.
So 4 of the 15 cars in today's qualifying session got kicked at the launch, and that means going through the formation lap, they can't take control. They have to wait. It's currently 5:09 UK time at the launch of the formation lap for the Singapore Grand Prix. Would you like me to take the honours, or would you like to do the honours in... no, it's raining, but it's not wet conditions. Oh, sorry, go on then. Would you like to do the formation lap, or would you like me to?
You can do it for a change.
Rightio, so here is the formation lap for the Singapore Grand Prix. RSF1 K-Mag, unfortunately, due to his incident in Q1, will be starting at the back of the grid for the race. Dark Sniper, he will be starting in 14th place. Cool, look at the cars, Vettel. Look at Dark Sniper. They're weaving to try and get some heat into their tyres, and they're almost going into the wall.
We don't have Muddy Biscuit. I'm pretty sure the rule for mass disconnection has been removed from the RSF1 rulebook, I think.
So when drivers used to get eliminated from the session, obviously it have to be like 90% of the lobby. Anyways, Brutal Reaper's 13th in the Racing Point, Titan Prime 12th in the Alpha Tauri, 11th is RSF1 Brundle in the Williams, 10th is Ripping One Shot in the Racing Point, 9th is Breezy in the McLaren. He got a good P9, especially after his mistakes he's made within all of the qualifying sessions. FFR Milan, he's in 8th in the Alfa Romeo. Catastrophe, the second Williams, is in 7th place. The championship leader, Muddy Biscuit, being one of the cars to have been kicked out of the lobby due to the disconnection bug, is in P6. JJ Hudson, also being a victim of that bug, will be starting P5. HCR Fearless, not being one of those cars that actually will be afflicted by this bug. He starts 4th. Eitz 3rd. Lukey in 2nd, who is another victim of the disconnection bug, and the session leader, after scoring the fastest lap in Q3 on the medium and also getting through Q2 on the medium tyres, a victim of the disconnection bug, is Steerage. So quite a load of drivers are going to be really annoyed at their games console for kicking them out like that. And this game's predicting a free stop strategy for like as two alternatives. So there's normally the 2-stop the game is just recommended to Steerage, or the alternative strategy, the game's decided to say a free stop. They go medium, soft, hard, which is kind of silly. It's a waste of time. But the cars now reform onto the grid, and Vettel, are you excited for this?
Yeah, the races all at this track in particular is normally won or lost at turn 1.
Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel, and so many other prestigious names within Formula 1 are clear victims of that, especially also Esteban Ocon. So now the cars lining up on the grid. Remember, not a lot of them are going to get a good start because of the disconnection bug. So I have a feeling, and then my prediction will come true, that RSF1 Eitz will jump.
Is that McLaren moving around for you?
They're bouncing.
Alright, they all are, don't matter.
Well, we're just waiting now for the game to start. The Singapore Grand Prix.
Is it still raining? Yeah.
It is raining. Gordon Steerage's car. I'm
Quite
hoping this game will get us going. Oh dear. Have you got screenshots, by the way, just in case we have to do a restart?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good. Keep an eye on the chat as well. But for the moment, we're just waiting on the game to get us going. I think because the drivers got kicked, it's sort of freaked the game out.
Yeah. I was a little interested to see whether people were going into the pits immediately for inters, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that.
It doesn't. It's a bit annoying. I want to see the lights go out. F1 2020 being the buggy mess that it is.
No one has the red X above their name.
Then why are we not going? This is weird. Unless it's one, you know, when it's like doing the loading bit, for the drivers, they should see who's causing the lobby not to get going. Unless there's something else to this.
I can't imagine people's tyres are very warm at the moment. Shane said call it.
Yeah, I think we might have to call the lobby restart because...
Oh, Ripman one shot, fastest lap. It might be
HCR
Ripman.
Fearless, yeah.
Yeah, it's Ripman. He's got a red X. Or people are
Ripman's gone. HCR Fearless is gone. I think, yeah, that's going to have to be a lobby restart because we're not getting off the line.
Right. I'll make sure I've got a screenshot of all the tyres people should be starting on. £60 well spent. Or €80.
Right, so apologies there, everyone. So I think, don't you agree there, Vettel, that it looks like we're probably going to have maybe a lap's worth of racing in dry conditions and then wet weather. I definitely think we was going to get a transition. It really did look like it.
It looked like it was going to transition very quickly.
So apologies there, everyone. We will be getting the Singapore Grand Prix up and running once again, so just please bear with us. In the meantime, we can talk about recent events within Formula 1 while we wait for the lobby to be reformed and the grid to be put in its correct position. So if you've not seen the Turkish Grand Prix, I recommend, and I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to cover your ears or quickly just come off. Once the race is up and running, obviously I won't talk about it, so I'm going to give you the perfect amount of time. Quickly come off if you've not heard anything. So I'm going to say something in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, there you go. That's the perfect amount of time I've given you. Turkish Grand Prix. Qualifying was crazy due to the severity of the track conditions. Cars falling off left, right and centre of the track. Red flags. And a stray dog running across the track as well. But after that qualifying session, Racing Point took a 1-2. Lewis Hamilton qualifying 6th, while Valtteri Bottas qualified 9th. Very, very crazy qualifying session. And then in the race, Vettel, that race. First lap, the championship hopes of keeping it alive died as Valtteri Bottas was one of the cars that span out at the entrance to Turn 1. And me personally, I've never seen Formula 1 cars get that dirty before. So it was weird. It looked like they'd been rallying, but that was a mental race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very good race. I mean, I would have preferred someone like Lance Stroll to win it, a new race winner, or even Checo. But unfortunately, Hamilton sealed his 7th. Well, not unfortunately, Hamilton sealed his 7th title. Very well done to him. But unfortunately, he won the race by quite a margin. I think it was 30 seconds.
It was roughly around that point, and he was on those tyres for a long time. I think Sergio actually pitted lap 10 off the wet compound tyre onto the intermediates and finished on those tyres. And Lewis Hamilton's cars had effectively turned intermediates into slicks.
Yeah, I have to admit, I thought it was very disappointing that a car can do 51 laps on a set of tyres. Realistically, Hamilton should have had to pit again, but because the track surface is no grip or tyre degradation problems at all, easy to go. But
RSF1, I know a lot of people do not support Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes team. A portion do, quite a lot don't. But big congratulations to the Mercedes F1 team for becoming winning the constructors title a 7th consecutive time in a row, which has not been achieved in a long time. Obviously, they haven't got the most constructors wins in all of F1 history. Ferrari still hold that, but the fact is they're the only team to get 7 consecutive wins in a row. And also congratulations to Lewis Hamilton for securing his 7th Drivers' World title in being matched with Michael Schumacher and being above the top drivers such as Juan Manuel Fangio, Sebastian Vettel, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna. But now he's sharing that top spot with Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
And still nothing, Vettel. You've not heard anything on Hamilton's choice on staying or going in Formula One?
Well, I mean, from the nostalgia factor, I hope he retires at the end of the season, just so that Michael's championships is in line with Hamilton. But there's no way, and I'm pretty sure he's guaranteed the 8th title if he stays. So why would he?
It all depends on exchanges are coming to the sport in the 2021 regulations. The cars are going to be taking a change in shape.
Well, the change to the technical regulations aren't there to really hamper Mercedes per se. Not doing anything to limit engine development, especially on their power unit.
The DAS system, I think, will. They said that they could use for the rest of 2020, but I think in 2021, DAS will no longer be allowed.
Yeah, DAS is banned, and they've also made some adjustments to the floor on the diffusers, so they produce about 10% less downforce. So they don't overwork the tyres as much, which is what Pirelli wanted.
Because I think with how the cars are now, like in Britain, earlier on, before in the first British Grand Prix in 2020, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas's tyres exploded. Danny Kvyat, his tyres exploded as well. I think Williams did as well. There's a huge tyre concern with Pirelli, and obviously we haven't seen a tyre concern since the famous incident in 2005 2006, in the United States Grand Prix in Indianapolis, where Bridgestone and Michelin tyres were having problems, and the Michelin tyres were not guaranteed for safety around certain corners after a crash. And at the end of the formation lap, all the Michelin runners retired, leaving only 6 cars, leaving 2 Ferraris, 2 Minardis, and 2 Jordans. And obviously that was the first time we'd ever seen a huge tyre thing, and obviously then this year back in Britain that reignited tyre concerns, in which, as Vettel said, they had to imply the rules on the floor to lessen downforce to help with the car.
Yeah, I did.
Is that how they're doing it?
Yeah, that's how they do it. I did find it a little rich though that Mercedes complain about the tyres not being able to last the race distance, even though they wanted the tyres in the first place.
Oh, are you back in the lobby, Vettel?
No, I haven't had an invite. And it won't let me
try and join through... I'll try and invite you. There you go. Just gotta wait for Rip and One Shot to get in his car. And then we wait.
We do have 14.
We are missing one.
Damage is off.
Damage is off, yeah. That needs to be turned on. So we've got K-Mag, we've got both the Alpha Towers. We're missing Ripin in his car. Dark Sniper, Catastrophe. Oh, that's it. We're missing HCR Fearless.
I'll get them back in the lobby then.
We're missing just them.
Rippling One Shot and HCR Fearless.
No, Ripping One Shot is in the lobby. He's just not getting into a car. There we are, there's HCR Fearless.
Yes, Roberts. The settings are getting finished at the moment.
Collisions on. Corner cut stringency, yeah, that needs to be put to strict. There's no point worrying about Parc Fermé now because there's no qualifying session. Need to wait for one shot to get in his car and then we can get going.
Does Parc Fermé really matter?
Not if it's just a race start. If it's just a race, then there's no need for Parc Fermé.
So, right, the next
Still got to wait.
The next race in the F1 calendar is Bahrain.
Yeah, it's unusual for Bahrain to be near the end of the F1 calendar. Normally, that's the second round.
Well, I think it makes a bit more sense to have it at the end of the season because, cost effectiveness. You're staying in Saudi Arabia or that part of Asia.
That is pretty cool though, we're getting that Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, the full outer loop oval track. I can't imagine Ferrari engine cars will be performing very well around there.
Ooh. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're getting... No, we're not. Brundle's done it.
No, it's just people getting a little impatient.
There's no one else in. No, they've got everyone.
Maybe they just started out the custom grid.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah. I noticed for the first time actually of the season we have no Mercedes. And we have no Ferraris. Well, just bear with everyone. We're just waiting now on the launch of the race. Waiting on this.
Scotsman, the reason for the restart is that none of the cars got away. They were all just sat on the grid.
There we go. Brundle is now beginning. Yeah, sorry. So, as Vettel said, everyone was stuck on the grid. Just waiting for the game to let the lights go out. And we were hearing nothing of it. Oh, there was another moment, by the way, we've got to talk about. Max Verstappen had a race with a Rubik's Cube player. So they're the Rubik's Cube champion. It's very quick, and Max Verstappen was doing laps around Austria, and just barely. Well, the results was close, but I'm not going to say anything. That's for everyone else to find out. But it was Max versus that, and that was really entertaining.
According to Mr. Roberts or Turtle Wolf, everyone needs to start on dry tyres, even if it's wet.
So the top 3 are the only drivers that need to start on the medium compound tyre. Everyone else from P4 to P10 will have to start on soft tyres.
Yeah, just in case any of the drivers, engineers are listening, as if you do put on the wrong tyres, so you want starting on softs, and you go to the mediums to start the race on, it's an instant disqualification.
So if anyone is caught not using the correct tyre compound within the beginning of the Grand Prix, then, as Vettel says, it will result in disqualification from the Grand Prix.
Oh, it's a wet start. Well, lap rain or transition period.
So while we wait, let's see. Yeah, everyone's on the intermediate tyre at the moment. The only people that can technically not have to abide by these rules is P11 to P14.
Yeah, is HCR Fearless in the lobby? No.
No. HCR Fearless qualified 4th. It doesn't look like we can get him back in now. Too late. Looks like, unfortunately, because we've already restarted the lobby once, we can't do it again. I think, unfortunately, the show must go on.
Yeah, unlucky for Red Bull.
They've already lost one car. The top 10 are still on intermediate tyres. Imagine that. If the top 10 do not, as you just said, Roberts Toto has said, the top 10 has to start on their Q2 tyre. If they all start on mediums for the first time, we're going to see a mass disqualification from the Grand Prix. From cars in P1 to P2. That means it will turn into 1996 Monaco, where only like 3 or 4 cars will be finishing the race.
It looks like everyone's going to be starting on the intermediates. I don't think they can change over the dries.
If that's the case, because the game's not actually letting them, I think that might get overruled. So that means they can start on the inters. No, it's complicated. Obviously, the rulebook is set in stone. So we just got to wait now. Just checking. Yeah, I don't think they can, like as you said, I don't think they can physically switch off of their inters. Well, we just have to wait and see for the launch of the Grand Prix. The drivers have got a few minutes just to quickly go over their strategies, apply their setups, but actually I think they can actually use a wet one maybe, I don't know.
Well, obviously we don't know whether it transitions to intermediate conditions to dry or whether it continues to rain. Hopefully it continues to rain, because it obviously brings in the most action. Right.
So I don't think, they're not actually physically able to get off those inters. They're not physically able to. It was definitely going to go from the slick tyres immediately to wet, I'd say, within the first lap of the Grand Prix. The first or second lap, because the rain was already coming down during the formation lap quite substantially.
Yeah, it was coming down quite badly at the start, and obviously everyone was going to start on the dry tyres, and then the game decided to not work.
I imagine we would have gotten like halfway around before DRS would have been disabled.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, DRS wasn't enabled anyway, so.
Actually, that would have been trippy. DRS not being enabled initially, and then obviously you can't find out because normally we use DRS being disabled as a reference to get in the pits. And if it's not going to get turned on at all, you're left confused on when's the right time.
Yeah, normally if you go a little bit, if you're very lucky and able to get in just before it's called off, it's a huge advantage because everyone else will be running on the dry tyres for an extra lap and losing a lot of time while you're gaining quite a bit when you're fresh inters or wet. Oh, it looks like we're going at 15 seconds till we begin.
Hey.
Do you want me to run through the grid or you?
I'll run through the grid one more time. I'll go for it. Right, so after the restart of the lobby, we now have the Grand Prix up and running once again. Starting in P14 is RSF1 K-Mag. In 13th is Dark Sniper. In 12th is Brutal Reapers in the Racing Point. In 11th is Titan Prime in the AlphaTauri. In 10th is RSF1 Brundle in the Williams. 9th is Ripping One Shot in the Racing Point. Breezy in 8th in the McLaren. In 7th is FFR Milan in the Alfa Romeo. In front of him, in 6th, is Grantastrophe in the Williams. Championship leader Muddy Biscuit in P5, now actually in his car. Oh, Lukey spun there in the formation lap. Anyways, in P5 is Muddy Biscuit, the championship leader. In P4 is JJ Hudson in the Red Bull. Unfortunately, due to HCR Fearless disconnecting somewhere before we managed to get the lobby going again, it will be the only Red Bull going. In 3rd is RSF1 Ice in the Alfa Romeo. In 2nd, it's Lukey in the AlphaTauri. And then in 1st, it's Steerage in the McLaren. And recently, after coming back, Vettel, Steerage has been really, really quick. He's proved his speed. He obviously couldn't actually attend for a while due to his connection. But coming back, he's proven how strong he is. Now the grid is just going through the bridge.
Yeah, it's going to be a very slow lap. Obviously, it's a 1 minute 30s originally, so if it goes to wets, I think we can be seeing some 1 minute 50, maybe even 2 minute lap times. It's going to be quite a long race if it stays wet.
Here we are, the drivers now line themselves up onto the grid.
Quite importantly, Lukey will be arriving to the grid a lot later than Sturridge because of his Spinala.
And that's actually going to play beautifully for his tyres.
Yeah.
He's going to have more heat than them.
Keeping tyre temperature in the wet around this track isn't as easy as it is in the dry. But it is still very easy to overwork these tyres, obviously, because they've got thinner grooves and they clear a lot less water, so the grip levels do tend to vary, and they normally last a little bit less.
And it's 5 red lights. And it's lights out,
Oh
away
yeah,
we go
Lukey
for
with a
the
good start
Singapore
there.
Grand Prix. Lukey gets a really good line going down into turn 1.
Yeah,
Lukey takes the
Ites
lead
as well.
of the Singapore Grand Prix. Ites moves into second place, going down the inside on steerage into turns 2. Here we go as Lukey still leads Muddy Biscuit up to 5th. It looks like Gruntashafis has been gobbled up by the racing points as well. Going down into the first DRS zone. Obviously, DRS is not enabled because of the rain, and it's down the inside. Goes Brutal Reapers on Catastrophe. The Williams are now now together in P10 and 11. K-Mag moves up into 12th. Dark Sniper down to 13th. It's side-by-side battling, going down to the end of the field. And it's FFR Milan versus JJ Hudson. FFR Milan gets ahead of JJ Hudson. The Red Bull falls down, and now the Red Bull's now being put under pressure by Breezy. And we've got a lot of cars battling it out. It's the racing point now side by side. Going down to the end, Rip and One Shot staying ahead, but there's contact now between the two racing points. And now the racing point hits the wall. That's Brutal Reapers hitting the wall. They're making contact with his teammate. Catastrophe gets ahead of that racing point, and now Brundle is behind Brutal Reapers. K-Mag is staying quite close to the pack as Ites is staying with the race leader Lukey. But steerage being unfortunately the sore loser, well not the sore loser, but the person who's missed out a lot in that race start due to his cold tyres. Breezy moves up to 5th, overtaking J Hudson.
Oh, Hudson nearly spinning himself out on the side of Breezy's McLaren. Yeah, I watched the start on the steerage's end. He got a little bit too much wheel spin off the line, and it ultimately cost him
a bit of bashing there from Catastrophe and Brutal Reapers.
Reapers has got damage. He's missing a left end plate. Catastrophe also had quite a pretty poor start as well, dropping 3 places.
Ooh. No, that's just the usual bug on the grid. Because it said from it that Ites took the lead of the Grand Prix.
I think Breezy's disconnected his car's in ghost mode.
Lukey's in ghost mode.
No, Breezy.
No, Lukey's in it as well.
Well, we're not allowed to restart, and disconnections now are, obviously.
I can't tell what's going on with the grid because it's so messed up. There we go, it's back up to speed. Lukey is now being pressured by Ites.
It's all about keeping the car behind at this stage of the race. Not overworking your tyres, saving fuel, and most importantly, keeping your concentration.
Yeah, because obviously you make one mistake and you've left the ability for them to capitalise on it.
Yeah, this is one of those few tracks left in the F1 calendar where mistakes are punished very heavily. Oh, Ites!
Oh! Round the outside goes RSF1 Ites on Lukey. Ites takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. It looks like Lukey just got caught napping there, and that just allowed Ites to say, "Thank you very much, I'm taking that position off again."
No, I don't know what happened there. Lukey, I didn't have a lot of confidence in the braking zone, but it looked like Ites had a lot more straight line speed than the AlphaTauri.
He launched the overtake mode on the ERS, so he had that maximum thrust pushing on. On board with RSF1 Brundle, who is getting quite close to his teammate. Big question is Brundle and Gruntastrophe going to do the swap? No, now it looks like the gap's open. It's at 1/10, which is why I switched to Brundle.
There is a 10th between K-Mag and Reapers.
Ooh.
K-Mag all over the back of that racing point, getting showered with water. There doesn't seem to be a dry line forming at the moment.
K-Mag made a little mistake. He's underfueled the car, and in the wet conditions, you actually consume more fuel.
We'll see how that is by around about lap 30. Well, about lap 27.
Oh! Switchback from K-Mag. He was going to go around the outside.
Is he going to send it?
Reapers then tried to cover him off.
No. Very close to hitting the rear of that racing point.
Well, Brutal Reapers is choosing to stick it out on that broken front wing.
Ah, that'll be why
So he's
K-Mag's all over the back.
I mean, look at Ice. Ice is already extending his lead. He's already 1.7 seconds ahead of Lukey. I think what you said is true, that Lukey just doesn't have the confidence.
I don't know, he's blown out a gap on steerage at the moment, 2/10 in that sector, but oh, never mind. It's back down to 7/10. I can't imagine Lukey will be making the same error again of braking too early at that corner, so he's going to probably try and make this as hard as possible for steerage to overtake him.
Brutal Reapers is holding up quite the train. He's got K-Mag, Sniper and Titan Prime now slotted in behind him, and with that broken wing, obviously he's not got much of aero, but he's doing a very good job of holding these lot up, which is probably really frustrating K-Mag. And K-Mag is doing his absolute best to clear this racing point.
Yeah, Brutal is tactically using his RS in the right areas.
I think a bit of tactics there is to hold these lot off to buy Rip and One Shot and the two Williams time.
Oh,
because the gap between Brutal Reapers.
Wall.
No damage though. See, he's still got both of his plates, but Brutal doing this is securing both his teammate and the Williams' safety if something happens, like a little nudge or they go a little bit off the track and have to rejoin.
Yeah, Muddy Biscuit not having the greatest of starts down in P7. Obviously, still at this point would score points, but being outscored pretty heavily by his championship rival in steerage.
Or K-Mag, you can see how he's getting really frustrated of that Racing Point
He just
gearbox.
needs to set it. No, Reapers.
All round the outside, he's going to go at the hairpin, and Brutal Reapers has to leave him space on the outside, using the overtake mode side by side, and after Brutal Reapers aggressively defending, they touch wheels, they're both deploying their ERS, now it's a matter of if he can hold it, down the inside now, K-Mag goes.
The line, forcing the racing point a little wide. Yeah, I think he's got the racing line, but the racing point's coming back.
It's still there!
Yeah, the racing point's got the racing line at the moment.
What's going on here?
Oh, two into here is not going to end well.
Oh, they touch, and the Racing Point is back in front.
From behind. No. I saw a bit of contact between the Renault and the Benz.
That must be really frustrating for K-Mag. The one moment where it looked like he managed to take 11th place so he could get on with his race.
Yeah.
And Brutal Reapers aggressively defends and puts him back in his place.
Yeah, brilliant driving there from Brutal Reapers to keep that car under control and on racing line.
Yeah, and they made a little contact, and the fact is they managed to not have any collisions with the wall. It was very good racing from the pair of them. But now the big question is K-Mag, because this is the closest battle on the track at the moment. K-Mag wants this. Oh, bit of sliding there.
Yeah. He's really going to have to capitalise on a mistake from Brutal Reapers. Or he's just going to have to lick the stamp and send it, as Daniel Ricciardo would say.
At this point, it looks like trying the old-fashioned way is too difficult on Brutal Reapers because the way he's holding. And the wheel spin as well. He puts too much throttle down, the car just doesn't like it.
Yeah, this is ultimately costing K-Mag seconds per lap battling this racing point.
Like, now the gap between Brutal Reapers and Brundle is 5.2 seconds.
We all know K-Mag race winner this season at Bahrain. Obviously there's a lot of pace in that car, but unfortunately he's landed himself behind that racing point.
He's getting really frustrated just seeing pink in front of him. And also Dark Sniper and Titan Prime are trying to do their best back there as well. Is it me? Or was the rain stopped?
Yes, the rain has stopped. It should be transitioning into dry conditions quite shortly.
Oh, a little mistake there, and K-Mag hits the back of Brutal Reapers and almost sends him spinning into the wall, but Brutal Reapers saved it. No incidents will be happening here, but good recovery. But yeah, I think soon we're going to be seeing the transition now to the dry weather, as we're still seeing a spray, but we're not seeing any more droplets of rain.
No, there's still quite a lot of standing water on the track. It might take 2 or 3 laps to get all that water cleared, so there's a good dry racing line. And then I think it's about who reacts first. Because if there's a safety car and Ike's is past the pits, everyone else can capitalise on that and he will lose out massively.
Oh, here go K-Mag. He's going to go round the outside at the end of the second straight.
No.
And the Racing Point shuts the door on him again.
Is he going to send it? No. Tapping the rear of the Racing Point again and again. But just doesn't have the confidence on the brakes to just send it. He really does need to be getting by this Racing Point. It's now 6.7 seconds the gap. Going round
here
the
he goes.
outside. Yeah.
Oh,
He's chucked him
careful.
onto the dirty marbles there. He had no hope of making the corner. But he's gone into the back.
Oh, it hits the back of him.
Is that damage? No, no damage.
No, it's not.
Thankfully.
That's frustrating for K-Mag.
I bet.
God, what cracking racing.
Yep.
Oh,
Heights
looks like
extending
Dark
the
Sniper
gap.
hit the back of K-Mag.
Now that's a good camera view from the curb.
I like the helicopter shots. They were quite nice.
Yeah. I gotta admit, the camera views in this track are very nice. I like the curb shots, where it takes the view from where the cars are cutting over the curb.
That can be quite a nice shot. Oh! Ripping one shot says now it's time to go in for dry tyres as well as a new wing.
It's Brutal Reapers, isn't it, in the pits?
Oh, sorry, Brutal Reapers. My bad.
Yeah, he's releasing
Is it?
K-Mag, who's now 8 seconds behind RSF1 run though.
Oh, it's Hearts.
That's a bold call. I'm not sure they'll go to the end. But we'll see. We'll see. I've normally been very incorrect with tyre choices this season so far.
He just has to pray that notification comes up.
Yeah, he's banking on well, it drying up very soon. It's not looking that way. The cars are still kicking up a lot of spray. I'm not sure it's dry conditions just yet. Having said that though, K-Mag is struggling in the corners slightly with the controlling of his Renault. We'll see if RSF1 outboxes this lap, seeing as he is in the current lead with a 5.4 seconds gap over to Lukey. Yeah, I think it might be dry tyres time.
There's still spray coming off the cars.
They seem to be losing a bit of traction. Heights is staying up.
Is Lukey doing the same though, and Steerage?
Yeah, it looks like
Yep, they are.
Reapers is losing a lot of time on those hards. Yeah, it's not dry conditions just yet.
Too early by a couple of laps, I'd say.
Yeah, he's dropping about 7 seconds a lap. Wasn't worth the gamble.
Muddy Biscuit. We're getting right in the back of JJ Hudson's car. Dark Sniper now pits. I imagine he's going to make the same call.
Yeah, I imagine so. He's got medium hard tyres. Hard tyres. That'll either be a very good strategy call or a poor one like Brutal Reapers. Which, yeah, I think it's a bit too early still. Brutal Reapers is struggling quite badly on those tyres.
There's quite a train behind Breezy. We've got JJ Hudson Muddy Biscuit and soon Ripping One Shot to be joining them all in that massive train. This is the battle for P5 at the moment. All Dark Snipers retired on track.
That's a crash, isn't it?
No, he's retired on track, is he?
We can check with...
His car's moving.
Yeah, it's a retirement on track. Dark Sniper, 3-second time penalty. Yeah, it is a retirement on track.
Oh. Well, that's a bit of a shame. I mean, even if he made the wrong call, there's still time for correction.
The Hearts are looking a bit better this lap, but Brutal Reapers is still struggling quite heavy on them.
The spray's gone. The spray's gone.
Yeah,
As
I imagine...
Farmer Lan and Breezy both pit, JJ Hudson retakes 4th place.
Yeah, it's just beginning to struggle a little bit on those intermediates.
I'm just waiting to see when DRS gets re-enabled. Oh, JJ Hudson's going to get pressured by Muddy Biscuit. JJ Hudson's going around the outside. He's been forced wide off the track. Muddy Biscuit has to stay back, but Red Bull stays ahead.
Yeah, a lot of drivers pitting at the moment for the hards.
Red Bull's weaving all over the place.
Milan was the first to make the bold call out of the top 5, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, he's cutting a lot of time out of Titan Prime.
I think it is. I mean, the track's still quite greasy. But any second now, I think the game's going to call it.
I think it's whoever blinks first at the moment. Will Light's going to the pits. Yeah, he's going into the pit lane now. Will Lukey coming? And I'm assuming Steerage will be following. Yep.
Transition now, but here's the important part. Will everyone...
I got a feeling someone might make the mistake and stay out. But no, it's looking like most of the drivers' heart will be pitting this lap. Being careful not to hit the wall on the entry because it is a very tight pit lane.
And got to be careful coming out as well because it's very easy to cross the pit lane exit line and receive a penalty.
Yeah, especially when the pit lane exit will still be wet because obviously very few cars have been crossing over it.
Muddy Biscuit has jumped JJ Hudson in the pit lane.
Yeah, but more importantly, Milan and Breeze has got ahead of both of them. And by quite convincingly as well.
Oh, Brundle did it as well. Brundle's just jumped Muddy Biscuit. Oh, JJ Hudson just lagged out. His car's just stopped on the track. Interesting.
Yeah, it says unable to invite to a game. I think he's out.
JJ Hudson? Yeah, he's out. That's a shame. That's a real shame.
It's a weird retirement right there.
Well, out of the 14 cars that we started with, only 12 remain. Unfortunately, one of those cars being Brutal Reapers, who is out of the points, has a lot of work to catch up to the grid. He's 43 seconds behind Titan Prime.
I think Brutal Reapers hit the wall because he's got fresh mediums.
Had a 5-second time penalty to serve in the pit lane previously.
Ah, right. the gap between Ike's and Lukey is actually a little bit, but Ike's still in, well, it's quite a control, isn't it?
I think Ice was doing a lot better when it was wet. But now that it's dry, Lukey and Steerage can pull it back now.
Yeah, maybe Ike's setup is a wet one. Maybe he's overworking the tyres a little bit and losing a bit of traction. Yeah, Lukey's looking considerably quicker in the corners than Ike's struggling a little bit through the high speed, it looks like. I know the Alfa Romeo wheelbase isn't actually very good around this track. I believe Red Bull's is the best.
So far right now, the gaps have opened up except for Muddy Biscuit and RSF1 Brundle. Looks like Brundle's struggling a little bit on those hards in front.
Yeah, Biscuit has caught up quite quickly towards Brundle, but now the hard part, which is trying to overtake the Williams, who I imagine will not want to let her go of those 8 points.
Now go across the hairpin. It looks like Brundle got better traction coming out though. Here we are going through to the bridge. Muddy Biscuit staying with him.
Yeah.
Real Reapers has done really good though at the back of the grid. He's chopped down 5 seconds off of his gap between himself and Titan Prime.
Titan Prime struggling a little bit on those hard tyres. The gap between Ike and Luke is falling quite quickly. Down to 4.9, and he's actually building up a gap to Steerage. 3.6 seconds. I wouldn't have expected that after qualifying.
No. You've still got the ghosted Red Bull just sitting there on the track from where the game pulled him over. Oh, there you go. Muddy Biscuit down the inside on RSF on Brundle. Brundle doesn't look like he tried to defend that much from that attack. Brundle down to 7th. Biscuit up to 6th.
I think Brundle knew that the chances to try to keep the Haas behind were quite slim, but he was obviously quite a lot quicker at this stage of the race.
But Brundle's not falling behind though.
No, not at this current stage. He is not. No. Biggest gainers probably Breezy and Milan. Milan from P7 up to P4 and.
Oh yeah, Brundle's on the attack. DRS assistance.
Still a bit too far back. Braking nice and late though. Going down to the 2nd gear. Still a little bit too far. Maybe you can put the move on in the 2nd DRS straight.
Oh, Titan Primes has made a monumental mistake at the hairpin.
Has he got damage? Nope.
No damage. He's fine. But that's allowed Reapers to gain on him now, because gap between two of them is now 37 seconds.
Yep, sure is. Well, Lukey is slowly but surely bringing that gap down to RSF1 I imagine the striking distance between them. Oh, as I say, that he locks up quite heavily into the corner, undoing a little bit of the progress he made last lap, but he'll be pushing again straight after.
Got Breezy, who's now catching up to FFR Milan. Milan's trying to hold off this McLaren. Hard to say really of how this race can end, because we haven't got any weather reports. Like, we knew it started wet, but is there any more rain coming back?
It doesn't look like. I think it's going to stay dry to the end, it looks like. Interesting to see the Williams. Pretty evenly matched for the pace. Maybe Grundy's a little faster. He looks to have a bit more straight line speed, cutting him around about half a tenth off Brundle.
Well, it looks like Brundle's got the cornering there.
Yeah, Ronald's definitely got the cornering. Grunty is quicker in the straight line, and he's actually brought it down into DRS range. Will we see some team orders
Breezy.
from Williams? Yeah, 8/10 now.
Breezy's done the same with keeping the gap low between himself and FFR Milan. He's he's got the DRS assistance so he can get ever so closer.
Grunty's used up all of his ERS to try and catch Brundle. He'll have nothing to attack with.
There we go, DRS assistance now on board with Breezy. Not close enough to make the move, but he can sure as hell try and get close enough, but Breezy's not even bothering to use his ERS. He's biding his time. He's charging up that battery.
Yeah, well, both drivers on pretty even amounts of charge at the moment. Yeah, very even, 70% each.
I mean, Breezy, he is respect to him there. It looks like he knows when it's time to attack and when it's just time to just drive.
There is a colossal gap between third and fourth, 16.6 seconds. Steerage, if he keeps pulling out these sorts of times, might actually be able to bring a gap big enough so he can box and go for softs and maybe try and set the fastest lap of the race.
It's looking possible. FFR Milan doesn't have the consistency that Steerage is demonstrating, but it's good enough for him to keep hold of P4.
Yeah, meanwhile, Grunty is 4/10 behind. Well, he was 4/10, it's now 7/10 on Brundle. No team orders at Williams just yet.
Oh! Titan Prime just got past Rip in one shot.
Ripplin looks to have a lot of damage, yeah. I think if he boxed this lap with that,
Bad day for Racing Point.
yeah, not great for the constructors in their youth, but honestly, AlphaTauri are going to be pretty happy that they can at least squeeze a point out of Titan Prime.
And Alfa Romeo doing pretty good with 25 points for first and 12 points for fourth.
Breezy nearly making a move on Milan there. He just
Same with
about
Grunt.
an inch off.
Same with Grunt. Grunt really wants to make the move on. Oh, team orders in play. Brundle leaves him room. Round the outside, goes for a catastrophe.
K-Mag's going down the inside.
Oh! K-Mag, nicely done though. He backs off just one moment because he knew if he stuck it there, he would have knocked Brundle into the wall. So well done to K-Mag and choosing his timing.
Yeah, oh, it was. Currently hit the wall. Very close there, losing the rear end through my favourite section on the entire track. It makes you feel like a proper racing driver going through there and just grazing the wall.
K-Mag is all over the back of Brundle. He wants to get past him.
Yeah. Brundle not struggling, but obviously letting his teammate through has cost him quite a bit of time. And I imagine he'll be wanting the DRS off his teammate, but he's not going to get it with being 1.1 seconds behind.
Brundle's trying his best to stay in the DRS window.
Get in the DRS. Really having a really bad exit from that corner. He might actually be attacked by Brundle. Yeah, playing quite a big problem for Brundle there going through turn one.
Got to go on board the Breezy, sorry. DRS assistance going down the straight. He's going to be getting ever so closer to Milan. He's not using any battery though.
Yeah, neither is Milan.
Milan burned a little bit though, because Breezy's just got that a little bit more.
Interesting to see, none of the top three have above 20% battery. They must be pushing very hard, each one of them. Lukey bringing the gap down.
Between... Yeah, I was about to say that. Lukey's getting ever so close now to Eitz. He did say, oh, Breezy almost gets a little bit too close for comfort with the wall there. But yeah, you did say, slowly but surely, Lukey's chipping away at that lead.
Yeah, Eitz should be looking in his mirrors by around... Maybe another 10 laps time, it might be about a second. if Luki keeps up this momentum.
Probably when striking distance will be... Oh, Ripping One Shot has had enough and has retired from the session. So now only 11 cars remain within the Grand Prix.
Yeah, no actual crashes though that has caused the retirement. It's all been self-inflicted retirements, if you would like to call them that. Breezy looking a lot closer to Milan this time around. He might be looking for the move in the next DRS straight. Going a little bit over there.
Between
probably picked up a warning.
Milan and Steerage is 21.3 seconds.
Yeah, that is a considerable gap. I'm not sure how much time you lose in a pit stop, but I imagine he'll want to get it to about 25 seconds before he thinks about trying to set fastest lap. Breezy still a bit too far off FFR Milan to make the move to the P4 for those all-important constructors points.
Breezy looks like he's maybe conserving his energy, not just for the right moment to attack FFR Milan, but to defend off of Muddy Biscuit. Muddy Biscuit is really, really close now to the back of his McLaren, so I think he's saving the energy for defence more than attack.
Well, I mean, defending from Muddy Biscuit is easier said than done. He's obviously the master of not receiving penalties. I've known Breezy to get quite a few in some races. Milan I've not really seen much of until about this race, so it's good to see new faces up at the front. Still 22 seconds behind third, but Steerage is obviously one of the top in Division 2.
Milan still trying his best to stay ahead. And McLaren is smelling the back of his car quite closely. Just wanting this. But no dice yet. Down the straight we go. And he's not using any ERS at all. Meanwhile, Muddy Biscuit has got the same amount of ERS. Oh, I just saw a little burst there being used by Breezy to help him deploy in the corner. Get that maximum speed coming out of turns 3.
Yeah, still not using any ERS to try and gain a bigger gap on FFR Milan. Maybe you'll launch an attack later on in the race, but you can't leave yourself too little time.
Go on board with K-Mag now.
When did the drivers...
Right on the back of Brundle again. What was you about to say, Bell?
Alright, so most of them box lap 9 and lap 10. Might be touch and go to see whether these drivers can keep those tyres alive until the end. Because traditionally you want to pit around about lap 14 to be guaranteed to finish.
Here comes the move. DRS assistance with the ERS. No, K-Mag just can't do it.
Brundle has got
just being a huge block.
A little bit more ERS than effect with than K-Mag can attack with. But K-Mag's pretty used to being stuck behind another car this race, having been stuck behind, was it Brutal Reapers?
I think it was, yeah. Obviously gained the position as well after Ripping One Shot decided to retire from the Grand Prix. His Grand Prix is still up for grabs in terms of the battle for P4. However, I think Steerage is now a full pit stop clear off of FFR Milan.
He's starting to deploy a bit more of the ERS at the moment.
K-Mag down the inside. Brundle tries to keep it going down the inside into the next corner. He gets that little bit of edge, they touch. No, but it looks like for this moment, K-Mag wins the war. But Brundle's got the ERS.
Oh!
Brundle's got the... Oh! That's not good.
JJ Hudson's been disqualified.
Why?
Well, his car was parked on track, so I'm assuming that's the reason why. So that's the Brundle. I imagine the stewards will want to have a look at that because it did look very bad on Brundle's point of view.
Brundle literally was going to send it down the inside, but then a touch of wheels just shot him into the wall.
The closest battle on track is Muddy Biscuit, who's all over the rear of Breezy coming into the main straight. Looks like Breezy's running a bit more downforce than Muddy Biscuit. He was... More importantly though, Breezy has not got DRS on FFR Milan.
Yeah, Breezy was actually pressuring him for a little while, but now he's fallen off.
Yeah, Breezy will have to defend coming into this. 3/10 is the sweet spot for the DRS. Yeah, Muddy Biscuit's going to easily have the move done. It is Ferrari powered Hess.
Breezy is going to try and defend though as they go down to the next corner. Yeah, Brundle's retired. That's not ideal for him.
Oh,
side
Muddy
by
Biscuit.
side, they're touching.
Got the move done. Oh, but Breezy's going back.
Late braking from the McLaren.
Come on, the McLaren has to concede at this point. Oh no!
That was a good move. Oh god!
Some great racing there.
Good respect there from Breezy though, and late braking from Catastrophe.
I think Breezy might be trying to make a move on Muddy Biscuit with the DRS. Try to go round the outside.
Yep, round the outside.
Touch of a skip on the Haas there.
And the Haas stays in front, but
this is helping out FFR Milan a lot. Managing to pull a 2.7 second gap.
I mean, while he stays close to Muddy Biscuit, Breezy can defend off Catastrophe, but now Catastrophe is all over the back of him.
Yeah, he's out with DRS range on Muddy Biscuit, another car. He's going to get eaten alive again by the Williams.
Going to be in the next DRS zone though.
Oh, Lukey is in the second gap to RSF1 Heights.
Oh, Lukey's cut it down tremendously.
Yeah, steerage not reacting in the same way as Lukey has on these hard tyres. Obviously, steerage got pole. Maybe his car was set up more for qualifying than in the race.
Probably. Oh, late braking there from Catastrophe. Hits the back of the McLaren. Front is staying on the back of Breezy's McLaren. Breezy is keeping him honest. But is it enough to hold Catastrophe back for the remainder of the Grand Prix as 9 laps remain? And the battle for the lead is about to commence, because do remember back last week in Monza, it was 5,000ths of a second, no, 500ths of a second between the race winner and second place. Are we going to see a second battle like that today, or is it going to be a little bit more of a substantial gap? But for the moment, the battle for second place is about to commence as Lukey is gaining on the back of RSF1 Ice. After the intermediate conditions, Ice was looking like he was on top, but now in the dry conditions, Lukey's now reined him back into sight.
Lukey is looking the considerably quicker car at this stage of the race. He's got a lot more ERS to play with than RSF1 Heights. I'm imagining Lukey will be looking for any form of mistake from the Alfa Romeo driver to try and capitalise and get the win.
They both got similar battery, so they're pushing with everything they got.
I think Brutal Reapers is being lapped, and he'll be getting a point.
Well, I mean, Brutal stuck it in, and so what was going to be a good point for AlphaTauri is now 1 point for Racing Point, which is not ideal, but it's better than nothing. 1 point is is something at least.
Yeah, after the start Brutal Reapers out, I imagine a point's a very good consolation prize.
Oh, Ice had a wobble
Ice.
going into the last corner, and that's allowed Lukey to take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah, thankfully Ice does not have any damage, but is he going to be able to come back at Lukey?
I doubt it.
I don't know, Lukey is looking considerably quicker at this stage.
That was a grip problem.
Yeah, I'm not 100% confident whether these hard tyres will make it to the end. They're 12 laps old at the moment. They've got a good 8 laps to go, so might see a late drama.
Muddy Biscuit is caught up to Milan.
Muddy Biscuit needs the fourth to limit limit the damage that Steerage will be putting into its championship lead.
Well, K-Mag's now into the pits. The first of the pit stops.
K-Mag going on to medium tyres.
Oh, look at the speed that Muddy Biscuit is showing. Rocket power basically going down to the end of the straight, but he backs off. He could have stuck it in and made the attack on FFR Milan, but Muddy Biscuit just chose that was not the moment. And bide his time and try again.
I'm wondering when Steerage is going to box, you know, for the soft tyres to try and get the extra point. I mean, it's going to be... If Second wants to try and get the fastest lap point, the undercut around here is very powerful, as we saw with Brundle, Breezy at Milan and everybody else. So, I don't think Ikes would be able to react anyway if Steerage boxed for the softs, and then he did fastest lap instantly. As you saw with Sebastian Vettel last season with Charles Leclerc, where he won the race because of it. I mean, it is worth the gamble for Steerage, because I mean, he's in third anyway, unless he crashes.
I mean, if he's got nothing to lose, and he's guaranteed P3.
Might as well try and get the extra point, or if the guy ahead tries to react to you, you might actually jump them.
Catastrophe now pits.
I
Muddy
imagine
Biscuit.
For softs. No, for mediums.
Look at Muddy Biscuit now, he's going to try and make the attack on FFR Milan.
A little bit too far back. That would have ended in a spin.
A bit of a lock there from Muddy Biscuit there. But that lock up doesn't stop him from staying with him.
No, it sure hasn't. Muddy Biscuit will be determined to try and get that fourth on track. I imagine he doesn't have a lot of penalties because this guy is incredibly consistent when it comes to track limits. Almost knowing every single limit possible.
32.3 seconds separate Steerage from FFR Milan.
I don't see a world where Steerage isn't pitting, to be honest.
I mean, pitting could be really important here. Claim that extra championship point.
Oh, he's hit the wall. Oh, no damage though.
Who did?
Steerage did.
Ooh. With DRS assistance, Muddy Biscuit. He's going to send it down the inside on the Alfa Romeo. Side by side, Muddy Biscuit.
Not got it yet.
Go.
Yeah, it's continued. He'll be
I think they
back
touched
in this straight though.
Yeah, Muddy Biscuit looked like he just gave the position back, so I think they might have touched and he thought that wasn't good enough to claim the overtake.
At this point. Yeah, he gets the DRS. No, he doesn't.
Out of power.
He's obviously got the speed to keep up with Milan, but maybe a couple laps battery saving and then going for a full-on attack might be the way to go, like Breezy was doing, but it did leave him quite exposed when Biscuit tried to overtake.
I mean, FFR Milan's just got a little bit of an edge over Muddy Biscuit in terms of the battery.
Do you want me to run through penalties?
Oh, yes, please.
Right then, so Lukey has no penalties at all at this present time. Ite's running a near perfect race. Steerage again running a near perfect race as well. FFR Milan has got 1 penalty at the moment. Well, sorry, 2 penalties. He picked one up this lap. Muddy Biscuit, as to be expected, not a single warning. Breezy has got 2. Titan Prime has got none. Grunty's got 3. K-Mag has got 5. And I don't think Brutal Reapers really matter.
Nicely done. And while he was doing that, Muddy Biscuit finally jumped FFR Milan and moves into 4th place. And now Muddy Biscuit has no more work to put in, because I doubt in 5 laps he's going to cut down 35 seconds. So I think now Muddy Biscuit, all he has to do is work on building a gap between himself and FFR Milan and keeping it that way.
Yeah, I imagine Muddy Biscuit will pull out a good gap. Milan has been hasn't showed exceptional pace, but he's going to get 10 points for Alfa Romeo, and I think the team principal Toto Wolff will be very happy with the result currently.
It looks like Ites is hugely suffering with grip problems. I imagine being on those hards for quite a long while has taken its toll.
Brutal Reapers is in the pits again. Looks for soft tyres.
I mean, he can actually do it and claim that championship point.
Yeah, he's got those fresh softs on. Slow pit stop from the Racing Point guys there. Must have had to replace the front wing.
It's all about the clutch as well, and how ready you are on it coming out the pits.
Well, I don't think it particularly matters how slow or quick he is on the clutch. There's no cars behind him.
And even if there was, they'll ghost for him.
Lapped by Breezy and Titan Prime. Lukey controlling this race at the moment. I'm still surprised to see not see Breezy in the pits.
Look at Muddy Biscuit, he's already opened a 2-second gap between himself and FFR Milan. Very good work there by Muddy Biscuit. Titan Prime, a name we haven't heard about in a while, is now one of the next drivers to pressurise the McLaren of Breezy.
Oh, Reapers is unlapping himself in his ghosted Racing Point.
He's more than entitled to try and do that.
Well, I mean, he's ghosted, so he can't take anybody out. Might as well.
He is much quicker than these two.
Are we just not getting notifications on safety cars and lap penalties and fastest lap?
Yeah, we've got that bug.
Great. Well, Brutal Reapers is going to finish his lap, and we'll see what it is. Oh well, he'll be starting his flying lap.
Titan Prime. DRS on Breezy. Going down to turn 1, Breezy is defending against Titan. The big part is, can Titan Prime make it a 1-6 for AlphaTauri as we get down the straight? A little bit of a wobble there from Breezy's McLaren.
I don't think Titan has the RS to challenge at this particular point.
Oh, lock up.
wonder how much
He
abuse
is.
the tyre has, a Formula 1 tyre in an average race. I imagine it's probably not nice to be a tyre.
No, you know, you get flat spots, blisters, rubbers.
I'm still surprised to see Steerage not pit, I have to say.
I'm surprised to see how long, why these tyres are holding on for so long. These guys pitted around lap 11 for these hards. And they're still going, but you can see purely from the grip they're struggling.
Looks like Reapers is struggling on his soft tyres. Either that or he's just throwing the car around. Yeah, it looks like he's just throwing the car around. Oh, and he's boxing again.
I mean, he can go on to new softs if he wants to.
Yeah, try and set the fastest lap again. Oh, I don't think he did he?
No, he didn't. Still belongs to Catastrophe.
He was on the medium tyres and down in P8.
Back on board with Titan Prime. Not close enough. He's actually fallen back on Breezy at that moment.
Yeah, he's got a limited number of laps left to try and challenge. I mean, if Sturridge wants to get that extra point for the fastest lap, I think he'll have to box now. Yeah, he's pitting now for the
Oh,
softs.
Lukey's going into the pits.
Oh. Okay. That's a weird choice.
And steerage.
Did Luke give a time penalty? I think he did.
He did. They're both going for the championship point. It's they can safely pit and stay in the podium finishing positions. Ice doesn't even need to worry anymore. All he just needs to do is nurse these tyres for as long as he can.
Oh, right, yeah.
Get to the end.
Received his penalty 2 laps ago.
So that means he probably would have lost the lead anyways at the end of the race if Ice stayed with him. But now the big question is can Ice maintain his hards? You can clearly see they're not really in effect anymore. It's like driving on ice now for these hard tyres.
Hards aren't a fantastic race tyre, especially on this track, but they're the only things that'll get you comfortably in a one-stop, so you have to like them for 30, 40 laps.
Well, he's about to make this lap number 20 as Titan Prime finally gets past Breezy in the DRS zone. We have to stay on board with Ice. A nasty lock up there, and it's not going to do his tyres any favours because he could get a puncture if his tyres are that worn. Ice now crosses the line for the last time before the end of the Grand Prix. He managed to get a nice start, took the lead for a while, fell back behind Lukey after Lukey got past him. The gap between himself and Lukey is going down tremendously, but it's not enough for him to panic because Lukey's only now just crossed the line. Ice has now just gotten to the end of the DRS zone, the first sector, now into sector 2. I have to say, Ice has done tremendously today.
Yeah, he drove well at the start with the quite tricky conditions, pulled out the gap, but then Lukey was considerably quicker in the dry stage, pulling out the 2-second gap, but then picking up the time penalty, which would have cost him the race, so he thought I might as well box for the softs and make sure I can get the fastest lap, which he's currently on course to getting as he has set the purple sector 1. Locking out a second on Ice in just one sector.
After what's been a difficult day for RSF1 Ice, on what looks to be dead hard compound tyres. Now it goes under the bridge, and after losing Shrimper, there's been no Ferraris, but a Ferrari-powered car can still get the job done. Eitz lost the lead at this moment, but now today he crosses the line as the winner of the Singapore Grand Prix. Congratulations to RSF1 Eitz. Meanwhile, Lukey in second place has got his penalty. Steerage is still behind him.
3 seconds, more importantly though.
Yes, Steerage might jump up. All depends.
Steerage looking
Lukey.
a little bit quicker at the actually. Lukey crosses the line.
Lukey crosses the line.
Crosses the lap. But can Steerage steal it off of him?
Steerage does it!
Yeah. Lukey must have picked up another penalty on his flying lap.
Muddy Biscuit crosses the line, goes 4th place. Actually, gets closer to Lukey because Lukey had more penalties. FFR Milan crosses the line 5th. Titan Prime, a very good drive from Titan Prime, I have to say. Admirable work. Crosses the line 6th.
One shot finished 11th. Is he crashed?
What? What's happened to him?
Oh, it's Brutal Reapers. He's been disqualified.
Even though Brundle was taken out in the early stages, he scores a point.
Well, did he do 75% of the race?
No.
Well, I don't think he receives the point then.
Well, that has been the Singapore Grand Prix. If you want to vote for your chosen driver of the day, please go to our Twitter, which is Racing Series F1, where a poll will be opening up very soon, and you can choose your selected driver of the day. But congratulations to RSF1 Eitz for taking the win in Singapore. Steerage second after jumping Lukey in the penalties, and Lukey still manages to hold on to third, even though they had a very nice substantial gap compared to Muddy Biscuit. Make sure you get some screenshots, by the way, for the race director. RS7 Eitz takes the win in Singapore in first place. Second goes Steerage after falling back one position, collects a penalty. Lukey did collect another one near the end of stages of the Grand Prix. Again, a clean drive for Muddy Biscuit. He goes from 5th to 4th, makes one position, and scores consistent points for the championship. Milan is in 5th. Titan Prime, well done to him. He jumps from 11th to 6th and collects the game's voted driver of the day. Obviously, you can vote for that on Twitter. Breezy 7th, Grantastrophe 8th, K-Mag 9th. Well done to Steerage for collecting the fastest lap of the race. Brundle 10th, Rippin' One Shot in 11th, JJ Hudson 12th, Dark Sniper 13th, and Brutal Reapers finishes off the classification for the grid. Try and get them lot in to the podium. Give them a moment. Hopefully they do join. Have you sent the invites?
I have, yeah.
We'll give them a few minutes. If no one attempts to join the podium for the interview, we will not hold any podium interviews. So yeah, that was pretty decent, even though we had quite a bit of a lack of numbers. What would you say was your favourite moment of that Grand Prix battle while we wait for the others?
Probably, I'd say it'd be the overtake for the lead of the race from Lukey. I think that was a very good move. K-Mag had some brilliant, well, was it? It wasn't Brutals, it might have been Grunty.
Brundle.
Yeah, Brundle, that's it, yeah.
Made contact with Brundle and so Brundle going in the wall and then shortly later retiring from the race. My favourite moment probably has to be that overtake, yeah, between Eitz and Lukey, because Eitz was struggling to hold on to the lead, makes a mistake in the last corner, and that just hands Lukey the lead and then Eitz managed to put in consistent enough time to stay with him, and then when the pit stops came, he didn't even need to think about pitting. His tyres were warm, but to win the Grand Prix, I imagine if there was a few more laps, he probably would have been pressured by that McLaren and the AlphaTauri, but luckily held on to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Right, we'll give them another minute, and if they don't join, we'll...
Oh, we got one.
Oh! There we go. Have you included... You going to include your audio for your podium interview? Well, for your... Rightio, Vettel, if any of the others join, like Steerage, I'll let you interview them.
Steerage doesn't
I'll
have a
interview
microphone.
Eitz. Okay, so it looks like you're going to be our only interview. Eitz, congratulations on winning the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously, it's been a very difficult one for you. Before we get into anything else, I just want to ask you, how was your tyre life at the end of that race?
Really good, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like you were struggling for a little bit of grip on the last couple of laps.
It's pretty fun throwing it about, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh. Well, you had obviously a good qualifying session and you've been battling non-stop with the top three. Tell us how your race has been for you.
Well, obviously in the wet, I had a bit of an advantage over Luke and George, well, Steerage and Lukey, because I'm just a bit quicker in the wet than them. So I managed to put a bit of a gap, and then obviously that must have helped me out, because if it was dry from the start, then those guys would have been gone, because I've been practicing all week with them, and yeah, they've been taking off, been like seconds a lot quicker than me, so I'm quite surprised. I just kind of held it together really, and just managed my tyres and tried to stay in touch with Luke, obviously when he had his penalty.
Obviously, is this your first win of the season, or have you've had another one, haven't you?
Yeah, I won in Azerbaijan.
Well, obviously, been a bit of a weird one as well, because we had the lobby restart, everyone's stuck on the grid, couple of names missing, like you're missing a few drivers who's left the league now and some that aren't able to attend today. I think including your teammate was here, wasn't he?
Yeah. He got 5th, I think.
Oh, yeah. That was FFR Milan. So that's some good points for the Alfa Romeo team. I'm not aware of the F2 constructors, which I'll have a little look into afterwards. But yeah, so Singapore is now done and out of the way. And now we've got to put our eyes onto the next Grand Prix, which I've got to try and remember. Bear with me.
Is it Japan?
I think it might be Japan. Singapore. No, it's Russia next.
Alright. Not
So,
too bad.
how are you feeling for Russia?
Well, not too bad actually. I've won league races in Russia before, but it depends how quick I am against the other guys, obviously. Japan, I'm not feeling very confident, to be honest.
No, Japan's quite a mixed track, but on the bright side, on the last corner in Japan, they did remove that bump, so it's a little bit more manageable to deal with now.
Yeah.
However, Zandvoort's got that kind of bump as well, and that's on like a big straight, so that's even worse. But yeah, Vettel, do you have any questions for Eitz before we wrap up for the night?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Righto. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for persevering with us through the horrible situation we had with the game, where we couldn't start the first part of the race, so we had to do a lobby restart. But thank you, everyone, for persevering and joining us through the action. So to go over the classification one more time before we wrap up for the night, Lukey got 3rd place in his AlphaTauri. In 2nd was Steerage, and then RSF1 Eitz managed to win in his Alfa Romeo, 20 seconds clear off the McLaren behind him, even though they were on fresh softs. And yeah, if you want to see more F2 action, you're going to have to wait till next week, because that's when we'll go around Sochi. But if you want to see more Singapore action, tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the F3 division, where they'll be taking it down to the streets of Singapore, and that's where we can see some battles. Are we going to see some more rain, or are we going to see some dry weather action? If you want to find out, tune in at 8 o'clock tomorrow with with them, and we'll see you there. But I've been Primus Gaming, and Vettel, thanks again for joining me. That was pretty fun.
Sure was.
Would have been nice to have some more cars on the grid. It would have made your favourite track a little bit more enjoyable for you, but I mean, we still got some great action out of it regardless.
Yeah, I don't think Singapore ever disappoints in league racing, so...
Yeah, I agree. I've had some good times around here, and some bad, but it's been a really great track. But anyways, thank you very much everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, and make sure you adhere to social distancing guidelines, and also do not break the lockdown protocols. Just stick with it. We'll get through it, and soon you'll be able to go out and see your friends and family again. Obviously, still sticking with the 6-person meetup rule, but yeah. Anyways, take care everyone, and have a good night.